Yo, what up? What up? It is your boy Divine Sense Boxing, and that's right, I'm back in the building. It is time to cook. So I want to appreciate first and foremost everybody coming in tonight. We have Jerome, New Fat Boy Fitness. Excuse me, Dwayne Freeman in the building coming in early tonight. I appreciate you. I was trying to go live probably about 45 minutes ago, but my laptop's really been tripping lately. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's time for a new one, man. So apologize to everyone that's potentially been waiting for me to go live. But finally got it up and running. And like I said, man, it's time to leave my thoughts. I was live last night, kind of giving you guys my post-fight breakdown of the Terence Crawford and David Avianson fight. I gave you guys my thoughts, and not everybody was able to join that fight or join that live at the moment. So I'll maybe do a little quick recap about my thoughts on the fight and then dig a little bit deeper in regards to Bud and Errol Spence. Now, of course, you guys see the thumbnail as you guys came in. Errol Spence just posted that shark season photo of him knocking at the door of Terence Crawford. Or was it? Yeah, it was strap season, not shark season. Well, it's a shark collecting straps, essentially. So I thought that was a pretty intriguing post by Errol Spence. I think it's a message being sent. I like it. And I'm going to talk about that. But before I do that, the Village Brother in the building was good, man. Good to see you as well. And make sure, of course, guys, you guys come in and smash that like button as soon as you guys come in, man. Let the people know that you're in here. And let the people know we're in here talking boxing. So before I talk about that, I do really quickly want to talk a little bit about Teofimo Lopez and his performance, which was a fight that was happening more or less the same time as the Terence Crawford and David Avianson fight. I wasn't able to watch it live because obviously I was watching the Terence Crawford fight, but I did go back and watch most of the Teofimo Lopez, not every single second of every round, but I watched about 85% of it. I watched enough of it to come to the conclusion of a few things. Number one, the fight it was a very close fight. And the 97-92 scorecard was egregious at best. I mean, is just mind blowing. I don't even know the words to describe that. It's just another example that we have gone through here as boxing fans of these lopsided and ridiculous scorecards. Um, and I believe it was a split decision in the end for Teofimo Lopez. Uh, for sure, whatever round that was, when Teofimo got caught, I believe it was like a counter right hand or a step back right hand. Teofimo went down. To me, it looked like a very clear knockdown. His gloves touched the canvas. He was caught with a clean shot. And somehow that didn't reflect on the scorecard. So some shady shit going on with that situation. To me, Teofimo hasn't looked anything close to what he was around the time he was getting ready to fight Lomachenko. And then when he fought Lomachenko, I mean, he's looking like a shell of himself. I mean, he didn't. I think he's reached a point in his career, where Deanna Branch in the building was good. I think he's reaching a point in his career where the explosiveness, the hand speed, and the power isn't enough. Like, it wasn't enough against Kambosos. It wasn't enough in this most recent fight. And he's getting outpointed. He's being outboxed in rounds, and he's being exposed when it comes to the stylistic point of view in boxing. Like, Kambosos outboxed Teofimo Lopez. That's why he beat him. He got dropped, and he outpointed him. And we know, based off of Kambosos and Devin Haney, that Kambosos is not a phenomenal boxer. He's got a good engine. He has a high work rate. He's got some skill, but he's not a systematic, like, sweet science work behind the jab, break you down type fighter, right? Devin Haney is. We saw what Devin Haney did to Kambosos twice and beat his ass even worse the second time. So, to me, Teofimo has some major adjustments to make if he's going to continue his career, because, I mean, he technically walked away as the victor, but it has to leave a sour taste in his mouth. He can't be happy with that performance. He can't be, unless he's in such extreme denial and somehow he's outside of his fucking mind and he felt like he did a phenomenal job. And that's dangerous, because if he feels like that was a good performance, he's about to get his ass beat badly by somebody if he doesn't wake up soon. And that's my thoughts about Teofimo Lopez in a nutshell. And it's not that he's absent of skill. He's a very skillful fighter. He obviously got to the point where he is in his career for a reason, but I'm starting to see, I don't want to call it like deterioration. He's still young. He's still got upside. He's still got potential. But I see maybe like a trend. He's on a downward trend. And I don't know if it's focus. I don't know if it's weight. I don't know if he's overconfident. I don't know if his dad is in his ear too much and he can't stay focused and they're blowing his ego up too big. He's got this false bravado. Like, I don't know what it is, but he's not the same Teofimo Lopez that we saw come up and then win titles and beat Lomachenko and things like that. So, not sure what's going on with the dude, but if he continues to perform the way that he's been performing, he's about to hit a major roadblock, and he's going to go up against somebody that is skilled and can crack and can seriously hurt him. He's vulnerable. He was dropped against Kambosos. He's been hurt in other fights, and in my opinion, he was knocked down in this fight as well. So, somebody who's not scared of his power and is willing to stand up to him, I think he's got some issues. So, those are my quick thoughts about Teofimo Lopez, man. If anybody else wants me to go deeper into it, feel free to bring it up. But the last thing I'll say about it is that I think it's becoming quite clear and quite apparent that based off of the eye test right now, there ain't no way he has a chance against Devin Haney. There's just no way. Devin Haney right now would beat the brakes off of Teofimo Lopez. He would. I don't care what nobody says. Oh yeah, but Devon, Teo's got power. He's got explosive. He's better than Kambosos. Well, we don't know that. We don't know if he's actually better than Kambosos because he lost to Kambosos. But yeah, you can say he should have won. You can say he underestimated Kambosos. Well, you can say a lot of things. But at the end of the day, he lost. So we don't really know for sure until he knocks out Kambosos or beats him convincingly. We don't really know if he's better because he lost. So all these people who are still riding with Teo and love Teo and he's just in a bad spot. He's still the best. He's one of the best. If his mind is right, I've heard people talk like this on social media. Oh, if his mind was right, he'd be one of the best. Well, that may be true, but boxing is 80% mental. If you're not mentally engaged in this sport, that's a wrap. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Which leaves me, that's me in the building. What's good with you? Bruce Gas Boxing, Jazz, and more in the building. What's good? Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way in. So that is like a segue into the Bud Crawford talk. Speaking about mental fortitude, which is something that I think that Teo right now is lacking. Rather, it's too much confidence, too much ego, or a lack thereof, or just not mentally engaged. I don't know what it is, but I think physically, Teo has all the attributes to be a pretty damn good fighter, and can beat anybody in his division or the division above him. Physically and natural talent wise, he has a lot of tools, but it's up here, right? Like I said, boxing is 80% mental, in my opinion. It's a thinking man's game. So, with that being said, we shine the lights on Bud, right? And that light is warranted. To shine a light on Bud right now is warranted because, like I said last night, giving my post-fight thoughts of the Bud and David Avianson fight. Was I impressed? Not really. Not really. Because I predicted, just as a reminder, I predicted a 7th round stoppage. And I think it happened in the 6th. So I was a round off. So he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. The fight went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. And quite frankly, he's supposed to do what he did. And I know a lot of people get upset with that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, come on, man. He's got to go in there and fight. It's boxing. Anything can happen. Man, listen. like Deanna Brand says, man, listen. This guy, Omega Red, was good with you. This guy is supposed to be the pound for pound best. This guy has been inducted into the Hall of Fame alongside the names of Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, and all these other great fighters of this generation. So y'all can miss me with trying to sell the idea that this fight that it meant anything other than keeping him in the win column, getting a knockout, and making it seem good, making it look good for the casual boxing fan. But you see, I'm not fooled because I'm not a casual fan. And like I said last night, congratulations. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on the man because he came out victorious. I'm not that petty. And I don't necessarily have a horse in the race. So, I mean, him winning or losing, I mean, if he won, he's supposed to win. Congratulations. If he lost, that's a damn shame. But other than that, I feel indifferent about it. My main concern is, Errol Spence, right? Because that's what this is all about. We're up here debating for months in regards to Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Are they going to fight? Who's ducking the fight? Who's avoiding the fight? Months and months and months of panels and debates and going at each other's throats. And the year of 2022 kept closing in on us, right? The timeline, the time frame, rather, kept decreasing. We're running out of dates. We're running out of months. We're running out of venues. Our optimism starts to shrink of these two men getting in the ring against each other. Lo and behold, the fight falls through. People have various opinions on why the fight fell through, whose fault it is. We heard Bud go live on his, I believe it was his Instagram, him stating his side, which I already expressed my opinion when it came to that live, because it looked like me. There were a lot of people behind the camera coaching him along the way. You can hear people talking to Bud as Bud is talking. It's very clear. If you don't believe me, go back, watch the interview again, put on headphones. You can clearly hear people in the background behind the camera coaching Bud as he's explaining why the Errol Spence fight didn't happen. Is this suspect to me? Yes, it is. Now, I'm not going to get into he's a coward, he's a bum, he's a duck, whatever. There are plenty of other channels who have no problem going that direction. I'm typically the type of person that I don't like to use that type of language when it comes to the sport. Anybody who steps through the ropes, I have much love and appreciation to you. But with that being said, there is a standard to be held, especially when you're considered the pound for pound and you are considered to be a Hall of Famer, one of the best in the sport. There has to be a standard set. The same standard that I hold for Terence Crawford, I hold that same standard for Errol Spence or any other fighter that is of that caliber. So let's dig a little bit deeper in it. Skywalker Box in the building was good. I see you, bro. Let's dig a little bit deeper. Okay, and of course there is a poll in the chat. Make sure y'all vote in that poll. Let me know what you think. There's also a link there in the chat. If anybody wants to drop in and give your thoughts, you're more than welcome. Especially for those who don't agree with me. So right now, currently, is Bud avoiding Spence? 88% says definitely. 12% says hell no. Hell no, he's not avoiding him. All right, well, let's talk about it then. So, a couple of things that I mentioned along the way of this saga between Spence and Crawford is there are a few things that I look at, a few things that matter to me. To some people, don't matter. It's weightless, or they can kind of chop and screw it and take it as they will. But for me, it matters. And those things are what fighters say carries weight, right? In my opinion, it means something. When they call another fighter out, when they mention another fighter by their name, when they're asked, who do you want to fight next? And they say, I want that guy. This guy's going to get it. Like, this person's next on the list, right? These type of things to me, and maybe I'm old school, matter to me, right? And because it matters to me, that is how I construct my playing field or my judgment field, right? And how I judge the character and the navigation of fighters when it comes to, are you really trying to take on the big tests? And if I'm to use that judgment, to me, Errol Spence is the person who has consistently and actively called Bud out by his name multiple times, social media, at fights, after his own fights, and more importantly, after his most recent fight, called him out by name. Right? Those type of things matter to me. And Bud, on the other hand, on multiple occasions, has avoided calling out Errol Spence by his name, making it clear, being specific on that's what he wants. And it's just fucking mind-blowing to me and extremely agitating and irritating, if you want my honest opinion. So when you're asked, not just, hey, who do you want next? You're literally asked, like, yo, everybody wants you and Spence. That's what everybody wants. Congratulations on the knockout. You look great. Right? Now you have another knockout on your belt. It's going to help propel the fight against Spence. That's what everybody wants. So what's good? And your reply was, hey, everybody knows I'm a free agent. And we're going to go back to the drawing board. Like, bro, like, how could nobody, even if you're a Bud fan, be okay with that response? And I'm waiting. I'm waiting for somebody to explain that. Because like I said, you should be held responsible and accountable as a boxer, as a professional, on the things that you say. Words carry meaning. So that's just me. Like, it blows my mind. It's like Bud knows that when he wins, he's going to be asked about Errol Spence. How could he not know? Of course he knows, right? Of course he knows. So there's no way that, he was just caught on the spot and he didn't know what to say. He already made that decision before he stepped into that ring. He knew he was going to be asked that, and he knew that he was going to refuse to answer it directly and mention Errol Spence by name. He planned that. He planned to remind people that he's a free agent. Yes, we know this. We don't care. We don't care. What we care about is, are we seriously, or you specifically, trying to get the fight made with Errol Spence? You're out here fighting number 6 guys. You're knocking out number 6 guys. And then there is Errol Spence, seemingly waiting patiently. And I don't know how much longer Bud and his supporters can continue to ride this wave of, oh, well, he's a free agent and Errol Spence has got a boss, PBC and this, that, and whatever, and that's why the fight can't be made. Like, how much longer can you continue to ride that wave? Like, seriously, are you seriously ready to die on that hill? Are you ready to die on that hill? Seriously, that is a very honest question. Because at some point, something has to give, right? Somebody needs to bear responsibility. And like I said earlier as well, yesterday in my live stream, is that people are saying, "Oh, well, Divine, are you holding the same standard for Errol Spence?" Absolutely, I am. Absolutely, I am. Which means that who Errol Spence fights next, if it's not Bud Crawford, matters for sure. In a way, Errol Spence is in a situation of a power play. He's in a power play situation. although he can't get the Bud fight, he's in position now with seemingly no fight signed to fight a fighter who's, number one, number two guy that will obviously far exceed the talent and the credibility of the fighter that Bud just fought. So you still have an opportunity to send a message to Bud and to boxing fans, right? Rather that's Ortiz or Boots or someone of that caliber. Even a Keith Thurman is a better fight than Bud and Avianson. And I'm willing to debate that. You're welcome to come in and debate me on that. Now, of course, I would prefer a Boots or Ortiz fight. But if I get a Thurman fight, it's still better. It's still better than Bud fighting Avianson. I mean, there's just no other way that you can convince me otherwise. So, like I said, there is a situation for Errol at hand. Obviously, he makes the post, the graphic of, it's strap season and knocking at the door of Terence Crawford. And once again, he sends a message that he wants to fight. Well, I mean, my question, I guess, to Bud fans would be, and for the 19% who came in here and said that Bud is not avoiding Spence, the 19% that said that Bud is not avoiding Spence, I guess my question would be to you: what more does Spence have to do? That's my question. What more does Spence have to do to get the fight? He's called him out by name. He's posting on social media. We are in the age of social media. It's the new newspaper. It's an outlet, news outlet for the media, essentially, and for fighters and athletes, right? It's social media. That's the day and age we live in. So he's made multiple posts calling him out by name. By name. Okay? And has called him out by name ringside after his fights, et cetera, et cetera. So my question for Bud fans, and I see you in the building, Keith White. I don't know if you're a subscriber or maybe you just stopped by. My question would be, what more does Spence have to do? What is he not doing? Forget about that question, Keith. Oh, what has Spence done? Oh, I'm not sure what you mean. Like, who has he fought? Or what has he done in regards to trying to get the fight happen? Okay, name calling is nothing. So, okay. So you're focused on what he hasn't done. Name calling doesn't mean anything. All right. So again, I asked the question, what does he need to do in your eyes, Keith? What does he need to do to get the fight with Bud? What does he need to do? Let's not talk about what he has done that maybe doesn't mean anything. Let's talk about what he legitimately needs to do. And then the second question would be, is Bud actually doing everything that he can to make? Because he's a free agent, right? He likes to remind us that he's a free agent. He doesn't have a boss anymore. And he's free to do whatever the fuck he wants, right? So what has Bud done? What has Bud Crawford done? But I'll play devil's advocate, Keith. I'll play devil's advocate. And I'll play the scenario of, you know what, Keith? It's Errol Spence's fault. It's all Errol. He's with PBC. He can't make the fight happen. Bud tried. There were some disagreements on the PBC side, and the fight fell through. It's all Spence's fault. Okay, I'll play that card. I'll play it. So if that's the truth, Keith, why did Bud, after trying to get the fight with Errol Spence, and it's all Errol Spence's fault, why did he then turn around and sign a fight with the number 6 or number 7, depending on which sanctioning body we're talking about? Why did he sign a fight with that guy? Why did he sign a fight with David Avianson? Because I would give Bud more leniency. I would give him the benefit of the doubt if the person that he fought was the number 1 or number 2 guy. Because to me, that makes me feel like, all right, well, the Spence fight fell through. I'm not sure whose fault it is, but I'm going to give Bud some credit here because it looks like he wants all the smoke. Because he couldn't get Spence, so he went for the next best thing, which would be his direct mandatory. The number 1, the minimum number 2. And he fought number 6. A guy who lost to Lamont Peterson. A guy who lost to Green Beans. A guy who hasn't really done shit, in my opinion, to fight the pound-for-pound best. And Keith White, I will double down even more. Just in case you're wondering. I hold the same standard for any fighter. For those people who know me for a long time, I was back 10 years ago or more, I was a huge Floyd fan, right? Just like Bud, I felt that Floyd was one of the most skillful fighters of the era, of the generation, and of that time when he was active. I feel the same way about Bud. And Floyd, by the way, has a far better resume than Bud. I mean, not really a comparison. If you're willing to debate that, you're going to lose tragically. Okay? But I criticized Floyd when he fought Robert Guerrero, for example. I thought it was a bullshit fight. I thought that fight was meaningless when it came to legacy. Floyd at that time was pound for pound one of the best, multiple-time champion, and he's fucking around fighting a guy who literally didn't have a chance. But you want to hear the funny thing, though? Even though I criticize a Robert Guerrero fight just because I know that guy just doesn't stand a chance. And we know what happened, right? Floyd beat the brakes off of Robert Guerrero for 12 rounds. But you don't want to hear something funny for the people like Keith White in here? Guess what? Robert Guerrero wasn't ranked number 6. Okay? He just come off a victory. I can't remember. If I'm not mistaken, I think he beat like Andre Berto or something like that. And was I don't know his exact ranking, but probably top 3. So that's the ironic thing about it. And what exactly, Keith, do I not know about boxing? So here we go into this conversation of, oh, he did it for the money. Oh, so legacy doesn't matter anymore. Legacy doesn't matter anymore, right? Just about money. That's your stance? Because the David Avianson fight does zero for Bud Crawford's legacy and his career. Zero. What does it do except put another knockout statistic on his resume? But in regards to a caliber of fighters and the guys that he has fought, it doesn't do shit for his resume. So it wasn't a legacy fight. It was a pick him up, grab some money fight, just like Floyd fighting Robert Guerrero. The difference is that Robert Guerrero was not ranked number 6 or 7. So, yeah, money matters. What's up, Lux? Money matters in boxing. But what are fighters really doing? What are they really trying to accomplish? What is the dream? What is the goal of a young kid who puts on boxing gloves and goes into the ring for the first time with headgear and has a dream of being a world champion? It is fucking legacy, bro. It is a gladiator and warrior sport. This isn't basketball. It's not football or hockey or golf. It's fucking boxing. It's a combat sport. So money matters, but because it's not a team sport, it's an individual sport as well. As well. So you have the ability to separate yourself from everybody. Sure, boxing has changed. It has evolved from the days of Sugar Ray Robinson, when Sugar Ray Robinson, is considered the best fighter of all time, right? A guy who fought Jake LaMotta multiple times, fought Gene Fullmer multiple times, Carmen Barcelio multiple times, went up different weight classes, and made peanuts in comparison to what fighters make today. But when it's all said and done, there is no dispute on who the greatest fighter of all time is. And that's Sugar Ray Robinson, for what he has accomplished in the sport. That's something that nobody can take away from Sugar Ray Robinson, despite how much money he made. Now, even Floyd, Money Mayweather, who built the latter part of his career of I'm my own boss and I dictate how things go and I'm the highest paid athlete in the world, still fought guys like Manny Pacquiao. Even if you felt like, it was a little bit too late, guess what? Floyd has Manny Pacquiao on his resume. He's got Shane Mosley on his resume. He's got Miguel Cotto on his resume. Whether the timing was perfect or not, there was still a part of Floyd, no matter what he said, in regards to, money means more than legacy. I'm trying to build longevity within my family, right? Residual income, et cetera, build a fucking empire. There was still a part of Floyd Mayweather that cared about his name and the place of history of the sport. Because at once upon a time, there was a dream within a little boy to become a world champion and to be one of the best to ever do it. And the only way that you can be one of the best to ever do it is to fight legacy fights. But in my opinion, that's why Floyd separates himself from most fighters of this generation. It's not only his skill. It's not only the guys that he fought, but it's also the fact that he was able to do that and make more money than we've ever seen before. He set a standard. He paved the way to show that boxers don't need promoters. They don't need people taking money from them. So I have a lot of complaints about Floyd outside of boxing. And as a promoter, I think he's not a great promoter. I mean, that's just my opinion. But when it comes to him as a fighter and the things that he accomplished while he was active, you can't dispute the type of legacy that he created. Bud is not doing any of that. Bud is not doing any of that. And if he's going to sell his soul for money, and how much money can I make if I fight the number 6 guy and the number 7 guy and the number 9 guy? And how much money can I make if I fight the number 4 guy who just come off a knockout loss? But, he's got a couple names on his resume. That's cool. That don't matter. Or whatever. Like, if he has sold his soul to take that route, I'm here to tell you, that's fucking sad. And I'm never going to come out here and put him above the names of a Floyd Mayweather or a fucking Pernell Whitaker, for that matter, or an Oscar De La Hoya, or any of the greats that came through the welterweight division. And putting him above Miguel Cotto is already a debate, even though Miguel Cotto had more success at 130 and 135 and 140. But you get my point. Lux Shampoo, no, he's not. He's taking a page out of Floyd's book to be his own boss and whatnot. But like I just said, you need to pay attention to what the fuck I'm saying, bro. Floyd not only took the money route, being his own boss route, and proving a point that he can build his own brand, his own image, his own business, which is great. I support that wholeheartedly. I'm a businessman. I run multiple businesses myself. I'm always going to support any man or woman, for that matter, who can be an entrepreneur and build something. But like I said, this is boxing. There is a deep-rooted legacy of this sport that separates it from any other sport in the world. A long lineage of classical warriors who fought way more fights, who put their life on the line way more than current fighters, and fighters who made peanuts in comparison to what fighters make today. There is a legacy standard to uphold. And that is my stance. That is my stance. Although I can support a boxer who wants to be his own boss, and let me say this, when Bud left Bob Arum in Top Rank, and he basically fired Bob in front of everybody during a press conference, I supported that. I supported that because I've never been a fan of Bob Arum, ever. Okay? So I'm like, good. Maybe that's what we need. It actually boosted my confidence because I thought one of the reasons why we couldn't get the Bud and Spence fight was because of PBC and Bob Arum and Top Rank and them not being able to reach an accord. So when he separated himself from Top Rank, I actually got a confidence boost. I was like, oh shit, this is what we might need. This is Terence Crawford, one of the pound for pound best. You're taking a page out of Floyd's book, and maybe this is what we need, is for him to get away from Bob so he can reach out to Errol, Spence, and PBC and get this fight popping. Because when Floyd left Top Rank and became his own person, He didn't turn around and go fight the fucking number 6 guy. He went for the big fish right away. He went after Oscar De La Hoya pretty much right away. So what are we really talking about here? So these are the things that I'm trying to kind of chip away at and go below the surface. That's what I'm trying to do. If you want me to throw a parade for Terence Crawford because he beat the number 6 guy, you came to the wrong place. And somebody came in here last night and said, well, I still enjoyed watching, Legacy on display. It was great to witness Bud's skills. Sure. I mean, I always enjoy going to any boxing match, amateur or pro, watching 2 men or women go head to head and be entertained by the sweet science. Bud Crawford goes to a high level in that regard as far as skill is concerned because he is a very skillful fighter. Did I enjoy him displaying his skills? Sure. I mean, I watched the fight because I like watching skill, of course. But was I on the edge of my seat at any point in the fight? Did I feel like, oh man, David might do some shit? Oh shit, Bud, he's in trouble, or oh, any moment he might get caught, or anything like that? Hell no. It was more of not the edge of my seat, but sitting back with my feet up, drinking an iced tea and munching on some brownies, waiting for Bud to knock him out. See, that's the whole point. And this is exactly why we need the Spence and Bud fight. This is why we need any big fight in boxing. This is why the Deontay Wilder and Fury trilogy was so intriguing. Because how could you not be on the edge of your seat when those 2 men got into the ring? Leading up to the third fight, the intensity was so fucking high, man, that quite honestly, I don't believe anybody. I don't believe anybody, rather you're a Wilder fan or a Fury fan. Fury's going to win this easy fight. I'm not going to believe you. Because although I'm a Wilder fan, I'm rooting for Wilder. I want to see the best. I want to see him get his vengeance, essentially. But nonetheless, I know that Tyson Fury is a fucking pain in the ass. And it's no easy task. And Deontay has to be at his best. And Deontay has to land that one punch. Right? So that's what we need in boxing. That's what we need. And that's what we are not getting when we get fights like Bud versus David Avianson. And going back to the poll quickly with 44. And by the way, if you're in here, if you haven't hit that like button, make sure you hit that like button. Share the stream. The question in the poll is Bud avoiding Spence, right? Pretty easy question. 74% says definitely avoiding Spence. Bud is definitely avoiding Spence. 20%, sorry, 26% says hell no. Hopefully, hopefully it's a little bit better now. If not, I might have to just turn off the camera. I've been having internet issues at my place the past couple of days, so um, yeah, I apologize. But if y'all can hear me, okay. I think hearing me is the most important thing. If y'all can hear me, let me know in the chat. Um, but yeah, kind of got sidetracked there for a second. But essentially, those are my thoughts, man. This is my stance. That is pretty much always my stance. That the legacy matters. It should matter because boxing within itself, as I said, is a unique sport. It separates itself from any sport in the world, in my opinion. As I mentioned, a long lineage of historical fighters who have paved the way for people like Bud and Spence and all the fighters that we have right now to be able to do what they're doing. There are shoes to fill, in my opinion. Although we are in a different era where money means more and boxers are getting paid and being able to reap the fruits of their labor, which I 100% support. But once again, the only reason why they're able to get paid more and reap the fruits of their labor and get paid for putting their life on the line is because those who came before them paved the way. We talk about all-time greats like Muhammad Ali all the time. We know the type of damage that he took in the ring. We know that he didn't make close to what heavyweights are making now. And like I said, him, being one of the greatest of all time, not just as a boxer, but as a human being, nobody could ever take that away from him and his family. So I guess it just is a matter of opinion on how you want to be as a person in general, not just boxers. It reminds me of the quote in the movie Troy, right? When the Greeks have to go and find Achilles, who's like sleeping in his tent drunk, not showing up to battle, and they send this little boy like messenger to go get him, right? And the guy who's supposed to fight is like this massive like giant type motherfucker. And the boy looks up at him as Achilles gets up on his horse, and he says, "The guy that they want you to fight is the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him." And Achilles looked at him and said, "Well, that's why nobody will remember your name." So maybe I'm just cut from a different type of cloth. What you do today echoes through eternity, people. Money is great. It's great for a time, right? But what we do now, as we're alive, the things that we do will echo through eternity. And it doesn't matter how much money, really, guys like Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta and Henry Armstrong and Jack Johnson, Muhammad Ali, and all the greats, how much money they made. And guess what? We still talk about those names today because what they did when they were alive has echoed through the past several decades and will continue to echo. What was, or what will Terence Bud Crawford be remembered for? What will he echo through eternity? That is my question. What will he be remembered for? If he retires tomorrow, never fighting Errol Spence, never fighting Boots Ennis, never fighting Ortiz, never fighting or moving up in weight classes and fighting like a Charlo or something like that, what will he be remembered for? I guess it's a matter of debate. Detroit, BC in the building was good. Jason, I see you in the building, and thank you. I appreciate you putting in. Hit that like button for me. Because if you ask me, if you say, well, Divine, I don't know what people will think about him, what will you think about him? If he doesn't fight those names that I just mentioned and he retires tomorrow, let's say last night is his last fight, never fighting again, he retires. How will Divine Sense remember Bud? He will be remembered for me as a guy who was extremely skillful, who at one point in his career was considered pound for pound, but his career was cut short. His potential and his legacy was cut short. And there's a lot of names that will run alongside the name of Bud Crawford if that were to happen. A lot of guys who came through boxing that were extremely talented, that won multiple weight classes, that was considered pound for pound. But when you dissect the resume and you look at all the names that were there, ready and able to fight in their primes, and then that person didn't fight those fighters, it is a massive blemish on your legacy. And fuck what you heard about, Oscar De La Hoya, for example. Who cares what you think about the man outside the ring? The dude's got some serious fucking personal issues. Nobody will dispute that. But something else that nobody can dispute is Oscar De La Hoya fought everybody. Everybody. And guess what? Nobody could ever take that away from Oscar De La Hoya, despite how fucked up he is today. See, that's the beautiful thing about legacy, isn't it? So, like I said, man, what will you be remembered for? Every day I wake up, I get my coffee, I get a little bit of vitamin D, go out there, try to get some sunlight, shower, dress up, get ready to attack the day, go to the gym, whatever it may be. Every single moment, every step that I take, I'm trying to carve my way to making a difference, to carve my name into some type of legacy. Rather, it's for my children or the people that I encounter in life to be able to pass on valuable information and wisdom and positivity and light for people to absorb and better themselves to then they can pass it on to their loved ones and their friends. And that continues to spread and flow through generations, right? What I say and what I do and what I accomplish and the name that I cement in history matters to me. And when I'm gone and my bones are dust, my name will remain. My legacy will remain. And when people think about me, they're gonna say, "Yeah, that was that dude, man. That dude did all kinds of shit. He accomplished this and he accomplished that, and he went against odds here, and etc. etc." And my children are gonna pass that information on to their children, and so on and so forth. You set the standard today for your family lineage and your future, or your family's future. And that's the way that I operate. So when people come in here and be like, "Yeah, man, but he's his own boss now. He's making money. That's cool, right?" I get, yeah, it's cool, but it don't mean shit for legacy. Because guess what? Money is paper. Paper burns much quicker than a cemented legacy. That shit is foundation. Anthony Jones in the building, bro. I see you. You're more than welcome, bro. No problem. Anybody that wants to come out and kick it with your boy Divine, take a little vacay, hit the beach, hit the island, cruise around the city. Um, I got you set up, no problem. As a matter of fact, the place that I stay has long-term stay, short-term stay, nice little place. I can hook you up and set you up with whatever you want to accomplish while you're out here on your vacation. Um, Make sure that you're following me on IG. And I to me, rather we agree or disagree, if you come over here and you show me love and appreciation, then you're like family to me. You're like family to me. And I love helping people better their lives. I love helping people discover new things and learn new things about themselves. And sometimes we get trapped in a box where we feel like the walls are closing in on us. We get stuck in a routine. You know what I mean? Like wake up, go to work, got to pay the mortgage, got to pay the car payment, got to file for my taxes, got to fucking worry about uh, this female or this dude, or I'm trying to date, I'm trying to get established, I'm trying to get married, I'm trying to, yeah, all these different things. Or if you're already married, trying to put your kids into school, trying to make sure that they get through college. And then, if you're pushing 40 plus, you're starting to already start to think about, all right, what am I going to do with my retirement? Like, what about my social security? All this crazy shit that constricts our growth, that waters us down, that ties an anchor to our ankles and drags us to the depths. So this is, to me, like everything that I believe in life reflects through all factions, right? And that includes boxing. Oh, no doubt, Anthony. No doubt. We got Demon in the building as well. What's up, Demon? Um, so this is why I really need to, and not to get off topic, but this is why I really need to set up my other podcast. and really start talking about some real shit. That's what I really need to do, and really start to inject some positivity and shed some light on some things because for me, right, I left the States when I was like 18 and I haven't lived in the States really at all since that time. And I'm closing in on 20 years where I've lived abroad. And when I look back, you know, at the people that I went to high school with or I served in the military with who are my age, I just see so much like stress and responsibility, and the idea of freedom is so hard to grasp when you are so constricted. And I got dudes that like are my age, like I said, that we grew up together or whatever it may be, and they just look worn down, drained, stressed out, look way older than what their age is, and that's because the wear and tear of stress in society. And it hurts my heart, to see that is like getting trapped in this matrix when the world is a very massive and beautiful place, and nothing in life should dictate how you operate and maneuver in regards to your freedom. It gives me great comfort to know that at any point in time I can just walk out this door and go wherever the fuck I want to go, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Ain't no boss, ain't no wife, ain't no parents, ain't no friend, ain't nobody gonna tell me where or what I can do. And the main reason for that is because I don't have any like restrictions. I'm not tied down by anything. Like, well, I'd like to do this, but I can't because I got to pay this, or I got to do this with this person, or I got to negotiate with that person. I don't got none of that. And that gives me great comfort knowing that that freedom is the most valuable thing that we can possess. And that is why I do um, praise Crawford in a way for extracting that freedom to be able to maneuver business wise on his own. But just because you have freedom, you don't want to abuse that freedom. You need to use that freedom wisely and productively. You can be free all you want, sitting on your ass, not doing shit. What are you accomplishing? We're born with freedom, right? We have to embrace it and attack life, right? Attack the world. Go after what you want to like I said, cement your legacy. And that is not, to me, that is not something that Bud Crawford is doing right now. There may have been a time 7, 8, 9 years ago when he was a younger fighter where, he had a lot of fire in his blood and he was out there to prove a point, and he was trying to get these belts and move up in weight classes and display his skills. 100%, there definitely was a time where he had that fire in his blood, where he cared about legacy and what people thought about him. But I feel like that fire is dying out because, for whatever reason, he's so fixated on how much money or what's it worth to me. Like, what do I get out of it? You start getting that mentality. So that's just the bottom line, in my opinion. Jason, facts. Cost of living going up, gas going up. Next thing, every time you turn around, charges for utilities go up, taxes go up. You got sales tax and property tax and fucking parking tax, and they're like taxing the shit out of you everywhere you look. They're taxing some shit. You out there working whatever it is, 9 to 5, 6 days a week, and then you put all the hours in, but then they take like fucking 25% of your earnings through taxes. But that's a whole nother topic. But it's something for people to think about. Something for people to think about. Never ever feel that you're constrained. Never ever feel that you're constricted and you can't maneuver the way that you want to, because ultimately it's up to you. And a lot of people ask me, "Yo, Divine, so how did how did you do it though? Like, how did you plan? Did you save money? Did you?" Fuck no. You know what I did? I got my passport. I had enough money to buy a ticket, and I got the fuck up out of there. That's what I did. Whatever happens after that, I'll figure it out. Simple as that. And here I am, almost 20 years later. So, holler at your boy. But without swinging this too far off left field, man, to kind of close this out, I think I made it abundantly clear that regardless on who you think is at fault for the Crawford and Spence situation, for me, I feel like it really comes down to, Bud had plenty of opportunities to really kind of prove that, number one, he cares about legacy. Number two, he's not ducking any smoke. And if he truly couldn't get the Spence fight because he did everything that he could and it just fell through, I, for the life of me, can't figure out why the fuck you would go after the number 6 guy. I don't care how many millions are on the table. I just refuse to accept it. I refuse. Because I'm a boxing fan. And what I care about is how you cement your name and legacy in the history of the sport. And David Avingson don't do shit. Yeah, you got paid. But how are you going to feel, Bud Crawford? You got paid, right? You feeling good about that? You feel like you worked the system? Cool. But how are you going to feel if Spence turns around and fights Boots Ennis and beats Boots? Guess what? Ain't nobody going to give a shit about David Avingson fight. They ain't going to give a shit that you knocked him out. They ain't give a shit about your $10 million. Everybody's going to be talking about Errol Spence and how much of a badass he is and how much people feel like you ducked him. So, food for thought. But anyway, I'm going to get on with my day, man. I appreciate everybody dropping in tonight. I know it's getting kind of late. So much love and respect. Your boy Divine is back. And it's good to be back chopping up with the family again, talk about some boxing and some real life shit. So, yeah, get those thoughts out there. I talked a little bit about T as well earlier in the stream. So y'all can rewind the tape if you want to. I'll put it all here earlier in the stream in regards to Teofimo Lopez. What's up? What's up, Tay? So I guess we'll see. We'll see where it goes from here, man. We'll see. We'll see how Bud operates. I saw he made a post recently. I think Boxing Ego posted something about Bud said some shit like, "Oh, people are just trying to hate on me and all this other shit." Ain't nobody. I mean, I'm not hating on him. Some dude came in here earlier calling me a hater. I am fucking hating on him. I feel like I'm spitting facts, and nobody's coming in here. I'll put the link in the chat. Ain't nobody coming in here to dispute what the fuck I'm saying. Only thing you say, "Oh man, you a hater." Well, how am I a hater? Come and tell me why I'm a hater. I'm not hating on the man. I've already given him all the credit that he deserves. I'm not going to give him more credit than that. I'm going to give the credit that he deserves, not more than that. Simple as that. So y'all call me a hater all you want. But at the end of the day, he fought the number 6 guy. He didn't fight Spence. And if Spence was the reason for that fight not happening, then you had no business fighting the number 6 guy anyway. So it doesn't really fucking matter. And that's just my opinion. E Unstoppable, what's good, man? I appreciate you stopping in late, man. Make sure you hit that like button for me. But I am going to head up out of here. I'm going to end the poll. 61 votes. Is Bud avoiding Spence? 73% says yes. 27% says hell no. He ain't avoiding Spence, man. Divine, you're crazy, bro. Crazy, bro. He ain't fucking avoiding Spence. He ain't afraid of no Spence. Did you see what he did to Avinson, bro? He knocked his ass out. And that's another thing. What would Spence do to David Avinson? If it was Spence and David Avinson, number one, they would ridicule the fuck out of Spence for fighting a number 6 guy. Facts. Number two, what would he do to him? I bet you he would knock him out just as quick, if not quicker. And that's just my opinion. So anyway, y'all stay up, stay strong and positive out there. I'll catch you guys on the next one, man. I want to take some time to think about the next stream to get some boxing conversations flowing, man. So make sure y'all keep your eyes open for your boy Divine, and I'll be back here for the next one soon. Y'all stay up. Peace.